Welcome to Bet She Did, the Sigma podcast following the journeys of female leaders shaping the iGaming industry. Today's episode is a story of curiosity, resilience, and a career built through unexpected opportunities. From dreaming of becoming a journalist to leading a technology company as the CEO of Folderly, Anastasiia Ivannikov's journey is a reminder that success rarely follows a straight path. This is a conversation about creating opportunities, breaking barriers, and what it takes to lead with purpose in a fast-moving industry. Anastasiia, welcome.
That's an amazing intro. Thank you for that.
Anastasiia, your career didn't begin with a dream of working in tech. You originally wanted to become a journalist. What led you from that ambition to becoming the CEO of Folderly, and what have you learned from embracing an unexpected career path?
Yeah, honestly, all of the career decisions and all of the turns that I took along the way, they came unexpectedly, and I took them opportunistically at first. So I was stepping into a new position or a new role, feeling like I have no idea what's going on here and what I'm going to do there either. And I started young too. So I started when I was 14. So I didn't have a clear idea of who I will become or who I dreamed to become. So I worked for a little bit as a journalist, but then I switched to tech sales accidentally. And I just kept moving in sales tech from one company to another company. And every time I felt like, well, probably I need to try something different. Another opportunity came in or something changed in the current position, and it felt like a new cycle again. So it felt like, well, I'm staying. It feels like I'm embracing it. So
you've spoken about starting your career without an established network. What helped you create opportunities for yourself?
I feel like I was granted with so many bright people around me, but not necessarily all of the time I knew about it. I knew which person can lead me where, but I always knew that I was surrounded by a lot of talented, bright people who had network. So every time it feels like it was partially a destiny. Every time I needed a turn, I had a person who could guide me through this turn. And even when I started in tech sales, I had a great mentor who guided me through the tech sales because I had no idea what's going on there. When I started working in tech sales, I was also blessed with the support from the CEO, and somehow it turned out that I always work with decision makers in companies. And I think that helped to shape my mindset, to think strategically rather than tactically implement some tasks. So I think that was just part of the journey.
By surrounding yourself with leaders, you became one eventually. However, the iGaming and tech industries are still largely male-dominated. So as a woman leading a technology company, what advice would you give to other women who aspire to leadership roles but may not see many people like themselves at the top?
Well, first of all, would be probably to turn off all of the emotions. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bold moves. Yes. It takes a lot of sometimes recklessness. It takes a lot of things to play in a male environment. And it doesn't really matter what industry we're talking about. If the industry is male dominated, it's always hard for a woman to build her path, not only because it's a closed infrastructure where males deal with males, but also because you have no idea how to break into this thing. You have no idea how to establish you there to be taken seriously. So there is
how do you build credibility?
Exactly. I think in my case, I try to build it with knowledge. And I often hear a phrase like, well, not often, but sometimes I hear a phrase like, we thought that you're just a beautiful wrapper around the product, but you're also very, very knowledgeable, and we didn't expect that. So I think this feeling about women and this perception about women is pretty common. It's just not everybody says that out loud, you know. So I think in my case, it's always knowledge, and it's always being one step ahead and preparing to everything one step ahead. And also, again, being very being very bold in some places, being very proactive, sometimes in a good way, aggressive. You cannot, in some cases, in most of the cases, you cannot show softness in a female version of softness. You can step back, you can negotiate, you can offer some better terms. But if you show softness, then it will be your
downfall.
spot. Yeah.
In a way. What is the hardest part in negotiation when you work in a male-dominated industry?
That's a great question. I think when a male is confident that everything is right in their company, the hardest part to tell that everything is wrong. I mean, in terms of deliverability and in terms of how their emails land into whichever folder. So when you start the conversation, they often come to a meeting saying, we're fine, we're all set, everything works perfectly. And to find a way to explain that actually you need to check this, you need to check that, you need to pay attention to that. And when we start unfolding all of these things, and when they see that it's not working at all, and they are losing tons of money because the process they assumed was good was actually working against them. So that's the toughest part, to find a way how to show that what they're saying is wrong.
So you have to find the balance at the end of the day.
Yes, true.
Anastasiia, I read a story you shared about helping a founder who was on the verge of shutting down a company. Rather than focusing on sales, you identified a simple gap in the customer journey that completely changed the outcome. What did that experience teach you about leadership and solving problems that you still carry with you today?
Along my way, I consulted over 50 companies on their sales process. And what I see in most of the companies is that they're trying to fix particular problem. Let's say we have high churn, we have low conversion, we have whatever, our marketing doesn't work, we have not enough traffic. Everybody has different problems, but they look at this specific problem, but not at the whole system, how this problem was produced. Because the problem doesn't emerge by itself. If you have a problem with marketing, that also roots in your understanding of your ideal customer profile, of your market, of how you interact with that market, what sort of message you send. Did you change that message? So it often comes with the circle of events that most of the people don't put together because they live in that every day. They sometimes they cannot step back and look at the picture from the bird's view. They see those microscopic problems and feel like those are the problems. But if you step outside, and that's what is actually easier for people who don't work for those companies, because you are not in their environment, you're not in their surrounding. You can see everything that's going on, but from much higher perspective.
Now, Anastasiia, allow me to ask you a bit of a personal question here. If you could go back and speak to the version of yourself who was just starting out, what advice would you give her?
It's going to be fine. Somehow it will figure out itself. It's going to be fine. Just wait and see how everything will turn into a beautiful, beautiful path.
And if you could give an advice to the women listening to Bet She Did, what would it be?
Fake it till you make it. Never doubt yourself. Always trust the process. Always believe that you have what it takes to achieve what you dream of, and never double think whatever you can achieve. You can achieve that. You can do everything.
That's amazing. Anastasiia, you're the CEO of Folderly. Thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.